Hello, I'm Graham Howarth, and in this video we're going to look at building on the simple page that we built in the previous video. If you've not seen that video, I'll add the link below so you can go and see how we set up that basic page. But what I'm going to do in this one is build on the work we did then and make some changes to the content. So I'm going to focus on changing the existing content, not putting any additional elements on at this stage. That will come in a later video. We'll look at the options on the landing page summary screen so you know what you can do there. Then we'll look at adding some style changes to the existing header and description text that we've got. I'll show you how to change background colours and how to change the image. Okay, so let's move over and we'll look at the landing pages and forms summary screen. And on here now, you've got on this left hand side, you've got the option to look at everything, which is I think what we're doing at the moment. You can look just at landing pages, or you can look just at forms. Okay, so we're going to go and look at the landing page that we built before, and if you haven't already seen it, I based it around time management just to give us some context to the content that we put on there. So let's go to the time management landing page that we created before, and there we go. That's what we did. If we have a look at a preview, you can see it a little bit better. So we just did a very quick landing page. We didn't do too much to it, just to make it look like so. Okay, so let's go back to the editor. And what I'm going to do first of all is look at the how we can select the style. So if we go into the editor, there we go. Okay, so now if we look at the these options here, we're going to look at in a later video of how to add all these different elements on. So we'll gradually build up this page to have more content than it currently does. Okay, but in the meantime, if we just look at the go into the style settings here, you'll see that we can make a number of changes which will affect the whole of the page. So if I look at the heading colour, at the moment that's this sort of medium grey colour. So what I'm going to do there is to select the colour bar here, and I can move, let's say, to a red colour if I wanted to, and choose red, and you'll see that the header over here changes to that red colour. If I have a particular colour that I want to use, such as your brand colour, then you can enter the X code here, and I'll use my blue that I have as my colours, and you'll see that changes then to the blue. Okay, so that's how you can do it from the colour bar. If you let's just copy this a second, copy that, and I'll paste that back into there just to go back to the colour that it was. But if I know the code that I want to use, then I can simply type that in there. 1234B5 is my brand colour. So once you know what your preferred colour scheme is, then you can change your form accordingly. So you've got two ways of doing it then. You can either go to the colour and select it. If you haven't got a brand colour, then you can decide on a colour that you want to use for the form, or you can enter your brand colour code here, or you can enter it straight away into there. Okay, so if I do the same with the text, that will change my text colour to blue as well if I want it to be that, or if I, again, knowing the code, we can change that to a black if we want to. We can change that to whatever colour we want. So we'll leave that as it is for the moment. Okay, there are two sides to the page. You've got the left background here, which is currently an image which you can remove if you wish to. So by simply clicking on that header there, you will remove that image. You then might want to put a colour as that background, and you change the colour. You just add a colour to that, and then you can add content into there at a later stage. But for the moment we'll have an image. So just to load an image, you'd simply click on that, click change the image, and we will look at the I have an hourglass image here. I think that's the one I was using before. Let's see what that does. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so there's the image that we had before, which is back there now. But I could have put, if I just simply want to change the image, I could have had the hourglass image as well, and that will change it to the hourglass. But I actually prefer the clock, so I'll put it back to that one. Okay, so I've reset the image to what it was before. Now what we have here is a background colour which doesn't really look complementary either to my brand colour or the other side of the page. So what we can do in the same way is change the colour there. So when you're changing colours, you can get an approximate colour scheme here, and then move the image here to the circle here to give you the sort of background colour that you want. And I'd sort of go for that bluey grey colour there, which looks better with the there, but you can choose your colour scheme obviously to match in with your photograph that you use as your image. So okay, I'll just leave that as this for the moment, but that's relatively easy to do. And again, if you've got brand colours that you want to use, you know what they are, you can just enter the code into there or select from the colour chart there. Okay, so that is how we change the background colour there. What we can also do here is select a default font. Now I use, for example, Open Sans, which will, as you see, change that. If I just go back there and change, let's go for Merriweather, or something even a little bit different. What have we got? Comic Sans. Now you can see the difference there with that style of font, but we'll use the one that I normally use, which is Open Sans. There, I quite like that because it's nice and clean. But you know, again, that will be part of your as you're building your brand. You will determine the style of font that you want to use. Now what you can also do here is to change the font size. Now you'll see if you look at these areas here in particular, if I change the font size, you'll see that they will all increase in size. However, because I've chosen a particular font size for the header, it doesn't affect that, but it will affect the others. But however, you can see now that the text on the button is larger than the button. Okay, so we can either change the text so it doesn't use so much, or we can take that back down, let's say to 16. But instead what I can do is, if I want this to be larger, then I can do that by highlighting that text, right click, and then pick the font size that I want. Let's say I'm 24, which will give us a slightly bigger description there, but leave the email address and the button as it is set to size 16, I think it was, wasn't it, when we were in there? Oops, wrong one. Go back to the style. Yes, that was set at 16. So again, if we change that font size now, you will see that it doesn't affect the description where we've set that. It sort of overrides the global, but it will affect the others. So we'll just take that back down to, we'll leave it at 17. That fits on. That's quite nice. Okay, so there we've made some changes to the form. Very simple changes, but you can play about with those. In a later video, we'll look at how we can add different elements and different effects onto this to begin to create a slightly more sophisticated page. Okay, but we'll leave that as it is for the moment, and if we update that, then that will be there when we come back into the next video. And again, we can open it, and there is your URL that you can use to point people towards your form. Now we'll look at how we can format this page in different ways and add some more elements in a later video, but for now we'll leave it there. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like below, and then if you want to see more videos, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.